You are live. No,
See, how does yours look?
I'm trying to get off of this. Oh, create post.
Exit. Discard.
Discard post.
You need to refresh.
You need to refresh.
No, you need to refresh. Yours look fresh.
All right.
We're ready now, guys.
What's up? What's up, everyone?
Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Is it Thursday already?
Yep.
All
That's
right.
what day our podcast is.
Today is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Another episode of our podcast. I am Ron.
I'm Angela.
And this is
Chatter of Opinion. What's our topic today?
Today, our topic, we are going to discuss couples, married couples, and individuals that have been in a long-term relationship that still continue or choose to have separate bank accounts. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a little weird that, well, I wouldn't say weird. It's not really that common for a married couple to have separate accounts.
It's not common for people to have separate accounts.
I don't think it is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you think that's common for a married couple to have separate accounts?
Well, I've only been married once.
I'm just saying.
I've never really kept track before.
Okay.
I guess my assumption was when you do get married that you automatically combine accounts.
Oh.
Maybe that was my young thought process, my child thought process.
Well, maybe that's the thought process of, before, back in the days, that's just what you did. But now that times have changed, I don't know if you combine accounts now or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you have a lot going on. Back in the days, you knew each other. You know what I mean? You got married. You knew who you was marrying. And what you were marrying into.
Did you though?
But if you look at relationships back in the days and how long they have lasted, they lasted a lot longer back in the days than they do now. Now, of course,
I feel like there's different reasons for why they lasted, but okay.
I would agree. But you wouldn't have found your parents or anybody else's parents that had like separate bank accounts. You know what I mean? You combined everything. I guess that was just the thought.
That's what I guess.
Yeah. When I heard, of a couple having a separate bank account as being married, I was
surprised.
Surprised.
I was surprised the first time I heard that. I was like, really?
Yeah.
How does that work exactly?
Exactly.
Right.
So I did some research and I'm going to come up with a couple of stats for you. This comes from bankrank.com.
Okay.
And they say that 43% of couples only have joint accounts.
43% have joint accounts. Okay.
Like 43%.
So that's like current. That was a current stat.
Yeah.
2023. Okay.
43% have joint accounts.
Okay.
Right. The next one is said 34% have mixed accounts. And the mixed account would be, we have a joint account together, but I got my separate account on the side.
We have our separate accounts.
Yeah.
Okay. So
43% have joint, or only joint. 34 have mixed accounts, and then 23% completely have separate accounts. Like 23% of folks, they are not trying to commingle funds at all.
Okay.
Right?
That's actually higher than I expected.
23%?
Yeah.
Me too.
Again, because of my thought process with it.
Right. But 23% completely have separate accounts. Like you got yours, I got mine, and we'll see about putting ours together at some other time.
When you show that you can act right.
Is that the reasoning though?
I don't know.
See what I'm saying? They say 61% of couples talk about finances at least once a month.
Around bill time? Maybe?
Maybe.
Like what do we got going on? What needs to be done? And then they talk once a month about it?
Maybe so. Maybe when it's time, especially if you have like separate accounts, when it comes time to be paying bills, this, that, and the other, you're gonna have to ask that other person, hey, where the rent at? Where half the
Right.
mortgage at? Where's your half of the bills?
See, that would be
So,
so annoying to me.
well, that's a part of,
Especially if it's someone that you have to like constantly ask. You
Well,
know, mortgage or rent's due at this time. So why do I have to keep asking?
yeah, but what if the mortgage is due at a certain time and you get paid earlier than I do? But what if you get paid every week? I get paid every 2 weeks. You're just gonna have to wait till I get mine. If I'm living paycheck to paycheck, you see what I'm saying? You just gotta wait. So you're gonna have to ask me, or you're gonna have to know exactly what my finances look like in my paycheck, and then say, hey, you get paid on Friday. I gotta hurry up and pay this bill on Saturday. Right. So come with. Right?
Okay.
There's
more conversations needing to be had when it's separate accounts, I think.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So what you want to do first? You want to do the pros or you want to do the cons? And this is about having separate accounts. If you decide to be the 23% that currently have separate accounts, we're going to do the pros and the cons of having a separate account.
Let's finish off with the positive. So let's start with the cons.
Are the pros a positive?
Of having separate account? Well, I don't know. In my head, pros is a pro. If you named it a pro, then it's a pro.
A pro for who, though?
For the separate accounters.
It might be a pro for you, but a con for me.
Maybe.
All right. So let's do the cons.
Yes.
All right. So the first con that we have written down on having separate accounts as being married or being in a long-term relationship, the first con would be spending habits become more visible.
Yes. Per our little commercial. That was what I tried to spin it off of, was I don't want you to see what I spend my money on or how often I go to the coffee shop or spend on makeup. Some women spend a lot on makeup or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
So you would,
because you don't know how much it takes to get this.
Right. So that'll be a con, because if you do have a joint account, pretty much I'll be able to see all that.
Correct.
But if you have a separate account, then the spending habits.
Yeah, you see it all.
Yeah.
Right. So then there's more arguments.
Why would there be more arguments though?
Well, what if there's okay, then that starts the conversation of maybe who makes more, and then they're like seeing that you make less, but you spend quite a bit, or.
But does that mean the spending? If you don't want somebody to see your spending habits, then you know it's probably a problem. If you are concerned about somebody seeing your spending habits, that means you have a problem of some sort.
Not necessarily a problem, but my ideal of manageable shopping expenses may be different from yours. So I don't want to be judged.
So isn't that a conversation on where you stand as far as your spending habits? To see if I understand exactly what your rationale is.
I guess should the conversation also, when you talk finances, should it go into as much detail as, okay, I get my nails and toes done once a month. I get my hair done every 6 weeks, like literally that type. So you have a full layout of what your general expenses are.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know when it comes to your spending habits.
In that way, it's more visible, right? If I like to decorate the house. Oh.
But see, once again, that would be a conversation, because when it comes to the household, it should be a conversation to say.
I may be jumping the gun on
this. The conversation in that case should be, okay, we need this done. How much do you have on it versus how much do I have on it? And this, that, and the other. But hiding your spending habits, so is not really good.
All right, next one
is difficult to access in case of an emergency.
What does that mean?
That means if we have separate accounts and something happens, let's say you don't have it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I have it in my account.
You got to transfer it or go to the bank.
If the emergency is with me.
Oh, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Then you won't be able to access my funds because
we have
separate accounts.
Somewhere. That's true.
Yeah. So that'll be
that's a good
a
point.
con. Yeah. No matter what the emergency is, you might have an emergency where you're at the store and something happens with your card or something like that.
That's happened to me a few times where, like, for some reason they were doing updates at the bank. What if my card for some reason didn't work at that specific time?
Right. Then you have to try to reach out to somebody, or you do the walk of shame because you ain't got it.
Huh. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Next one, causes for more financial communication, bills, rent, and home.
Right. So that means when it comes to
like I said, you got to talk details of what expenses there are.
Yeah. And the communication, like, hey, this bill is due on Friday, or this bill is due next Friday, and so forth. So it causes me or the individuals to hold a conversation about where you at. You know, what is the status?
Which maybe
of your
could be
account?
awkward too if one of the people struggle. So then you're having to bring it up, right? About, hey, rent's due in 3 days. You haven't paid me. Like,
right.
Sometimes it seems like it could be awkward if both of you guys aren't responsible or capable.
Especially if I don't see your spending habits, which was going down to number one. Yeah. So if I see you spending,
and you're telling me you ain't got it,
you're telling me you ain't got the
so that causes more fights. I would think. I don't know.
It could. All I know, you can spend as much money as you want. At the end of the month, you better have that rent, that bill.
I do believe that whenever you do share and split stuff with someone, that should always be priority. Like anything else, you need to hold off or prioritize that first. Let me put this aside first, and whatever's left, I can do with.
I would
but that's
agree.
The responsibility of splitting.
Right. I would agree.
Some people don't. It's the immediate, I'm going to go do this, and then I'll worry about that later.
No, my thing is whatever that entails or you are involved with the both of you guys, that is what you have to focus your funds on. If I'm relying on you to do something, or you're relying on me to do something, my focus should be to save my money or whatever for that first, to make sure that is covered. And then whatever else after that, it's fair game for me. I just got to make sure the next month I got it. Okay. What's the next one?
Make less monthly,
right.
Has less to work with, may feel less than.
Okay.
It's a lot.
And that, it is a lot.
But yeah.
But what that actually means is, let's say I make
50,000.
Let's just say 50,000. I'm just gonna throw a number out there. I make $50,000. You make 30,000.
Yeah.
Right. So then we split in the bills. We already had this conversation about 50-50.
Yeah.
But we split in the bills. So I got some extra left over. I got, after I pay all the bills and whatnot, I have, a couple of thousand for me to spend on myself. So every week I come home and I'm fresh to death. I got new stuff, new gear. But after you spend your portion, you don't have anything. So then you make less, and you might feel like less than, you know what I mean? Because you don't have that extra money.
Or left out, or a burden, or because what if like you're now picking up, I don't know, going out to eat or something all the time because I just never got it.
No, because then I'm gonna start checking you once again about your spending.
Yeah, but if I make only 30,000, I guess it depends on what we're splitting too.
Right, and how you.
Because if we split in 50-50, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah.
But I can see that. I can see if you have yours, I have mine. We only pay bills together, and I have a lot extra because I make a lot more money than you. You might feel less than because of the fact that I have more to spend.
Right.
And I don't know what the obligation would be. Like, just because I have some extra and you run out, do I break you off a little bit, or what you got is what you got?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Because if I'm steady breaking you off, you might as well just combine accounts.
True.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. If I'm giving you money anyways.
Yeah, right. So you might as well just put it all in one pot. Harder to save for joint goals.
Why? Because you don't see what?
Yeah, you don't see what I'm working with. You know what I mean? And I can easily say, hey, man, I only got like $10 or $20 or $100, but I'm not going to give you everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because, like, hey, we're supposed to be putting $100 a month towards our vacation.
Right.
You've only been putting $30.
Yeah, but you're spending like
Yeah.
80 on food and stuff
Right,
like
going
that from your
out.
account.
Yeah.
So when it comes to joint goals, if it's in one pot, we can decide together how much we're going to put in versus I'm asking you to put in 30 of your dollars that you only have 50 left. I put in 30. It's going to take us slower to get to our goal.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are some of the cons
Okay.
as far as
Let's talk about
separate
pros.
accounts. Pros for separate account
that we could come up with. Maybe you guys have more.
Yeah, the pros that benefit the both of you.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one would be control and privacy over personal spending. You see what I'm saying? Control and privacy over personal spending.
Control and privacy over personal spending
Mm-hmm.
is a pro. So you're saying if you are out of control with the spending,
Well,
I kind of can regulate you.
Well,
a bit,
I'm saying this
or
is
what do
the
you mean?
pros for you for separate accounts. Like how if you have a separate account,
Oh,
how
yeah,
is that
yeah,
going to
yeah.
benefit you?
For myself.
Yeah, how's that going
Gotcha.
to benefit you?
Control and privacy over. Yeah, like I said, I don't want you to see about my coffee habits or
Right.
my
Or your extra spending over some nonsense.
yeah, my toes or
right,
my nails or whatever.
Because some things that I understand that women have a lot of needs when it comes to like makeup and stuff like that.
Not necessarily needs, but upkeep. Our upkeep in our mind is probably higher than a male's.
Yeah, which is needs. Some people need things.
Oh,
there are wants, and then there are some people that need certain things to make them feel better, about themselves. So the pros for you, if you had a separate account, is you ain't got to worry about what.
Yeah, I'm able to hide that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is really not good because, like I said, if you're working with a limited budget.
Yeah. Well, it's a pro to an extent if you don't want to share that info.
It is.
Right?
But that's still hiding their finances, though. That's still going to be a con in the end. All right. The second one would be partner not responsible for others' debt. Like if you come into the relationship and that person has a whole bunch of debt and they're garnishing wages and stuff like that, it only comes out of their paycheck.
Right.
It doesn't come out of the whole bank account. However, it will affect your overall relationship because that person has that debt.
Right.
However, it doesn't come out of your hard-earned money. If somebody has some debt and they're garnishing 75% of the wages,
true,
and you don't work 40 hours and you can't stand your supervisor, and you bring home a check and it's way less than what you.
But then is
deserve.
that really a relation? I don't know. That's another conversation.
Is that really a what?
I don't know. I just feel like when you're in a relationship, you're there to like help each other.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, totally to a certain extent.
You know what I mean?
But it just depends on what it is. But with separate accounts, you're all on your own.
But you can't tell me if you had a joint account and then they came down and said, we need to garnish some of your bank account or whatever. And then they took
that's true.
Like 90% of your check.
If they were doing that and you're married, couldn't they dip into both accounts just because you're married?
I don't think so. Don't quote me on this because I don't really know the law.
If you guys know, let us know. If you've had that experience where, yes, you were married, but you guys had separate accounts, and for whatever reason, the IRS or someone was garnishing child support, maybe garnishing money. If you're married, could they dip into your spouse's funds?
I don't know about the bank account. I think what they do is they'll garnish your wages as far as the individual's wages, but I've never seen somebody like go in, just dig in your account and take your money.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm oblivious to that.
So. And don't quote me on that because the IRS they don't be playing. You come home and your whole house is going off the lot. I don't know because you're old IRS, but I'm just saying I don't think that they can just dig into your account and take your funds.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Easy to split assets in case of divorce or separation.
Mm-hmm.
Is it though? You said it depends on where
you live. The laws is when you get a divorce, like here in Albuquerque, if you get a divorce, Albuquerque is a 50-50 state. So if you had a bank account, right, and like I was explaining to you, let's say you have $100,000 in your bank account, and I got $50,000 in my bank account.
Okay.
New Mexico says that, all right, we have to walk away with equal amount of debt. So if you have $100,000 and I have $50,000, let's say we have some bills on the side, you're going to take on those
More of the
bills,
hit.
yeah, because I only have $50,000.
Mm.
So you have to give up something for me to reach the amount of money that you possess.
Okay.
But that's state to state.
Yeah.
Other states don't see it that way.
Yeah, maybe there's another state that's like, if you have separate accounts, what you got is what you got.
Yeah, and what you got is what you got. Y'all, decide what y'all gonna do with the materialistic things that you have in your house, and just press on and separate that. But some states do say that you decided to have two separate bank accounts. Whatever you're working with is whatever you're working with. Whatever he's working with, y'all just take the other person for what they have and press on.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Last one, avoid being or feeling stuck or trapped in the relationship. Yeah.
So when you get into a relationship, and let's say you commingle funds, and some people feel like you look at that balance in your relationship or in your bank account, and you're like, man, I can't go anywhere because this is what we got.
Mm-hmm.
And if I leave, or we decide to get a divorce, or we split up, I'm going to be stuck with only half of this. I'm not going to be able to take the whole thing.
Right.
Right. So then you feel stuck or trapped until you can try to get your money right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Because you're only reliant on what you got.
Right.
But or can access.
Correct. So if you have separate accounts, then whatever you have in your bank account, you don't feel trapped because you know that person ain't going to take the funds. A young lady had chimed in on the Facebook page, on my Facebook page, and said that exact thing. Like when they got a divorce or talked about getting divorced or separating, that person drained the account.
Yeah.
Now, legally, I don't know how that actually works, but that would suck if you reached a certain point in your bank account, like you saved $30,000, $40,000. You say, hey, man, I want this divorce. And then they just go ahead and drain the account. So hopefully you got a good attorney. And then they were like, nah, at this time, when the conversation happened and this person went out there and drained the account, this is how much they got them for. And then they owe you at least half of those funds.
I just always think of that movie Enough.
With Jennifer Lopez.
With Jennifer Lopez, where she's trying to leave her man and she's like over there trying to get cash and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he basically shut everything down.
Yeah, because you have the right to. If you think about what's tied into your bank account or tied into a marriage where you combine, anybody can shut it down. Yeah. Nowadays, I don't know. If you go to the bank and you try to close an account that's a joint account, do you need both people to shut it down?
I believe most accounts do require that.
If
it's a combined account. Now, if it's a primary with just someone on it, like I know my mom was the primary and I was on her account, I think she had full whatever because she was like the primary. It wasn't a joint. It was the primary with her putting me on her account.
On a joint account, don't you have like a primary and like an alternate person?
Yeah, but it's still considered a joint. Like someone has to go first. So yes, there's a primary person, but it's still a joint account. We're equally liable to it.
Right.
Right. And we can equally access and close it or require. And I think you can also state that in your requirements is, do both of us have to be there to shut it, or will one person be allowed to shut it? Boy, I think you have to choose those things. And I could be wrong.
Paper. Yeah. Hey, you ain't about to walk away with all my funds and so forth. So if there is an option and you do have a joint account, I will look into it to see
how that works.
Is there a rule that says you both have to shut it down?
Yeah.
However, there are times where a person doesn't shut the whole thing down. You can go to the ATM now, or just go to the bank account or your bank and withdraw as much money as you want to withdraw.
There's limits to ATMs though.
Yeah, but if let's say I go down the street and I go to the actual bank, I could just take everything out of the bank without closing the account.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Unless there's also a max for that too.
I
think there's more of a max, not for you, but for the bank, based on what they have on hand to give you. Like, say you have hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know, we're not to that level, but whatever we were.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's still a limit per what the bank itself has on hand
to give to you. Okay.
So if you ball in, then you have problems like that. If you ain't, then you good.
Yeah. I guess that's how it is.
Yeah.
The bottom line to this conversation is, if an individual does have a joint, separate accounts, does it fall in the line of, or comes down to trust?
Well, yeah, because I have to trust that you're going to do what you need to contribute to what we've agreed to combined.
Okay.
Whether it's the bills and things like that, or if we have, like you said, joint goals, that you're going to prioritize what we.
Shouldn't you have already discussed that prior to getting married? You got married, so you had to trust this person to a certain extent. You probably don't trust that person financially, but you got married, so you had to trust them to a certain extent. Why don't you just have
saying
joint account?
Having a joint account.
Yeah, like
so you've been together, say 5 years of dating or being in a relationship, living together. So then now we decide to get married. So then at that point, you're saying that it's due to trust that people wouldn't get a combined account? Is that what you're implying?
When it comes to trust, I could see that being
the main issue.
An issue. Yeah. What do you have going on? If I'm looking at you, I'm evaluating the relationship. I'm looking at what you have going on. I'm looking at your spending habits. I'm looking at how responsible you are and so forth, because I have reached a point where I've worked hard for what I got. And then if I see you just willy-nilly with it, you know what I mean? Just spending out of control, why would I, you know what I mean, commingle my funds with you?
Yeah.
However, if I'm going to get married to you, then I'm going to trust you enough to give you my last name. I should trust you enough.
But maybe that's not why people don't combine their accounts. Maybe they would just rather keep it separate.
Right. And that's what I said. We have trust, and then you have status and convenience. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or just the work it is to just combine everything.
Right.
Yeah, because when you do say you have a joint account and separate accounts, and then you have direct deposit with your work, then maybe there's more work in saying, okay, place of work, can you please split my check into this account and this account? Or everything goes into your personal account, and then you're still having to transfer it to your combined account.
With me, it's just easier. It's just easier for me when it comes to me to have everything in one pot.
So you could see everything.
Right.
Which is funny because Ron never looks at his account.
No, I don't even know when I get paid.
No,
that's because I'm balling.
No, that's not. Because he trusts me enough to do everything. No? It's not all about trust for us.
It's convenient.
What he's told me before is he knows that I'm very big on finances. I do a lot of accounting and financials for companies, right? So he says he knows that I'm not going to put myself in a predicament or a position. So hence, you're safe. Is that how you put it that time?
I think so. But then I also know that I get paid well enough that if you did walk away with the funds that's already in the account, that my next check, I will be okay. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's some people that if you walked away, or somebody walked away with a check, their next check, they wouldn't be okay.
Right.
Because they depend on both checks to survive. If you walked away with what's in the account, the next time I get paid, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So it's not about trust.
But it is about trust because I don't, like I
So
said,
you don't trust me.
I'll be the first one to say I don't know when I get paid.
He
I don't
doesn't.
check the bank account
He
type
does
stuff. I
not.
don't.
Mhm.
All I do know is if I do want something, I better be able to go get it without even questioning. I shouldn't get declined on anything. If I get declined, it should be because of my bank card is not reading,
It's not reading.
or,
I get
or
it.
the bank is jacked up. But it should not be because of lack of funds ever.
That was another question we were going to ask, right? Is what dollar value is that?
Yeah.
How can we word this? Was it if we had separate accounts or combined accounts?
Separate or combined accounts.
Yes.
If you have a separate or
Yeah.
combined account, what is the max? Well, what is the minimum? No.
What dollar value does it require a conversation with your partner, whether it's living together, but you're sharing finances, living together or married? Does it require a conversation to say, hey, I'm spending $12,000 on a motorcycle?
Well, that's a little steep.
That's a little steep.
But
okay.
let's say,
give an example.
Yeah, let's say you go someplace and you are commingling funds, you're sharing funds, or you have responsibilities of the house, and you see something out at the store, no matter if it's for the household or for yourself. What is the dollar figure that you would have to take time out to hold a conversation with your spouse before you make that purchase?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Like what is that dollar figure?
I think that depends on, in general, how well off you are as far as your stableness, how stable you are prior. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Or it depends on what you consider a major purchase.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But based on where your status is, whether it's savings, financial, spending habits type thing.
Okay.
Yes, I think that the dollar value is based on that.
So let's say with you go out to a store.
Okay.
And you see something that you really, really like.
Yeah.
It's kind of expensive.
Yeah. Let's say a purse. Can we use a purse, for example? Because I'm not a purse person, but I know women pay a lot for purses.
Let's say a purse.
Okay.
At what dollar price would you consider purchasing it that you think that you owe me, not owe me, but you think that you should have a conversation to say, hey, this purse costs this amount of money. Is it not all right? Because you don't have to ask for permission, but totally. I think I'm going to get it.
Yeah. Well, okay. But if I know you well enough, I, in general, would, for a purse, this is specific for a purse, if it was over 300,
okay,
I feel like I would have some explaining to do. Not that we had it, but more like, really, on a purse? And not that you would deny it to me. It would be more me feeling the need to justify that because of my own.
So you're saying 300 period.
What?
But you're saying 300 period, not even a purse. What is the dollar figure? Let's say it wasn't a purse.
Okay. You're saying in general? Again, it depends on our status.
I'm saying you.
You're saying right now in our situation?
Yes.
Oh.
How much would you, if you go to the store and you say, oh man, this is this amount of money.
I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I would say because I do the finances, I know where I'm at. I'm comfortable if it's under 500, where there needs to be a conversation.
Yeah. So if it's $450, you get it without even saying anything. You say, hey, you come home, you'd be like, I bought this and it was $450.
Yeah, I would probably first review the return policy just in case, back up. But yeah. Have I done that before? No, but if I really was like, maybe.
How much was that vacuum right there?
$500 and some dollars.
On a vacuum.
Why are you bringing up old
I'm
stuff?
just saying. I don't think I got that conversation till after it was at the house.
Actually, lies. You were with me when we went to go get it.
Whoa.
You
Yeah, I
just
was
don't
already at the
remember.
store, and you was just like, "Hey, man, this is gonna be a little pricey."
Yeah, and then he did the.
Like, what is pricey? $500. That's That's
And
a
we
lot.
got great use out of it. We still use it.
I ain't use that thing.
I
whatever.
use it.
I think mine is a lot lower than that, though.
Yours is?
I think if it came up to maybe $200, maybe $100, I'd be like, "Hey, man, I'm about to spend $100 on this."
But do you think it's because you don't manage the finances?
No.
It's just respect. Or is it respect? Because I don't feel I'm disrespecting you by, spending $500 if it's something. Like, I just, again, hope you trust that I based it on good reasons.
No, my thing is, if you say I'm spending $100 on something, that's quite a bit of money. I guess, you know what I mean? That's like quite a bit of money. So if I'm gonna spend $500, I don't know what it is that I can walk in the house with and say I spent $499 and not discuss my purchase.
I don't know. We've never had this happen, huh? In real life, we have not been like, hey. Well, recently, what was it that we got a quote on our house to add some electrical outlets outside in our courtyard and exterior. And I got the quote and it was like almost $600. I called you to be like, hey, what do you think of this? See, 500. It was over 500, so I discussed it with you.
Hey.
Right?
And I said, what? If you're going to use it, it is what it is, then just go ahead and get it.
He said if the benefit of getting it is worth the 500, which I'm a big Christmas person. I had no outlets in the front except having to go through the courtyard with extension cords was the closest outlet.
Yeah.
I'm big on Christmas, so...
Yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But my thing is, I think it'd be like maybe $100. Maybe if it's like $100 and there's some shoes, okay, I'll get the shoes.
Maybe
but if
I'll
it's
need
like
to evaluate my level then.
It may, I don't know.
See, that's a conversation, I
guess. But maybe if it's like $200, I think I'm gonna reach out and be like, hey, I saw this deal. It's like $200. I'm thinking about getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ask for permission. I'm gonna run it by you, and then you're gonna talk me off the ledge, or you're gonna promote. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Crystal says, when we first got married, I had a hard time joining accounts.
Okay.
But after a while, it was just easier to pay bills and do things with one account.
Correct.
Plus, 2 incomes is definitely better than 1.
Yes, I would agree. It's difficult. In a previous relationship that I had, we had separate accounts, and I think the only reason we got joint accounts was because we had a major purchase with each other, right? But I think it was more of the first issue, like trust maybe, or status or something like that. You know what I mean? Until it was a major purchase. And then now it's like, I'm not paying for the whole thing. Right. Yeah. Let's commingle funds. And then we both gonna pay for it, so we have equal equity in the major purchase.
Yeah. Equal investment.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. But, if I look at the situation now, I would not have a joint account if I'm married. I would have, a separate account if I was married. I have a joint account because there's a lot of moving parts in a marriage, and I don't always want to have to ask you, or if I pay for it out of my account and be like, hey, you owe
me for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we do have friends that have separate accounts, and they say it works. Yeah, they have it down to a science on who does what, who paid for what, even broken down to when they go out to dinner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who paid for the dinner and who picks up this, that, and the other. It just
like
works for
a
them.
certain person pays the household stuff, and then the other person pays like all the groceries and utilities or something.
Yeah, and it works for them. So
hold on, Marley.
It is what it is. So
yeah.
But that is our conversation today. We have covered the pros and cons of having separate accounts. At first, I don't or didn't understand, if you're married, why would you even consider having a separate account? I just thought that once you got married, everything became community
Combined.
funds. Yeah, because of the fact that nothing's ever just a sole person's in a marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not just a marriage. You have couples that have been out there been together for years, you know,
Right.
and just decide not to get married. And then they have separate accounts as well. So it can be a little difficult at times, but it is what it is.
Oh, one more comment. From Felicia, I do not have a joint account with my spouse, probably due to me being single and taking care of myself for 10 years before getting in my second marriage. It works for us. We share expenses, and if one of us would need something, we got each other's backs. Okay. So Felicia, do you guys have a joint? Did she say she has a joint account? Do you have a joint account for bills, or do you just like, hey, you take care of, I don't know, utilities, and you take, like, do you just separate it that way, or do you have a joint account in order to pay those combined bills?
Right.
Yeah. Or do you individually, are you responsible for paying certain things from your own account?
Right. And I can see that if you had a previous relationship, like a previous marriage, and it didn't work, and something happened where one of you guys, or you got burnt, you know what I mean, when it came to the account, the next relationship that you get into, you're going to be kind of hesitant to combine your funds because you have to learn your lesson.
Yeah.
Then I asked that question to the young lady earlier when it came down to their, you know, her
You
having a
asked if
separate
they
account.
would do it again.
Yeah. If you got burnt before, if you do get remarried, will you combine your funds with someone? Would you have a joint account?
Okay, yes. She says, yes, we each have specific things we pay for. So they don't even have a joint. Okay, so another question. Sorry, we're going to pick your brain because you're the one who's chimed in and our proof of a separate account. So if there's ever an emergency, do you guys each have access to each other's personal account for whatever reason? And if there was like an emergency or something, is that person able to, right, access your account just in case?
Right.
So let's see what she says.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the case or not, because if we have a joint account, I don't know if they have total access to your account. You know what I mean? And that at times could be an issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So let's see what she says.
Right. Because with us, we have a joint account, but then we have a joint credit card, and then we have separate credit cards.
You have a separate credit card.
You don't have a credit card?
I only have our combined ones.
Well, that sucks. I'm just saying.
I can only manage. I only care to manage one. I don't need. I used to have all these accounts, and for what? I just need one. Yeah. Give me my travel points. I'm all good.
Okay.
I'm just
all
saying.
Right. Yeah, well, there it is. I don't. Yeah.
So only some of us have
a separate credit card.
What did you say on our last episode? Sneaky leak accounts. Sneaky leak.
Sneaky link. Is it called a sneaky link? But the sneaky link, ain't that a person?
Yeah, but if you have a sneaky link account, maybe it's because you're using that to go get like restaurant, like go out to eat, or hotels with your sneaky link.
Yeah, but then I'd have to pay my credit card bill with our joint account.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That don't make any sense. Okay.
All right. She says we have each other's PIN numbers and access to bank cards.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, send me your PIN number too.
Don't listen to it.
Let me jump on that too.
Can we all get the bank account number?
No, but that works as long as they have access, just in case something happens.
Yeah.
Emergency, or you need that person to do something for you. At least they have the account information where they can access funds if it comes down to that.
Thank you for that info. I was hoping more people would chime in because we do share accounts. So I was really interested in seeing how people worked through it.
Right. You know, like I said, the bottom line, it comes down to trust, status, and convenience. Sometimes it works for you to have a separate account. Sometimes you don't trust the individual that you are with, especially if you haven't been with them for a long time, or you've been caught up in a previous situation. And then the status, like what are you? You know what I mean? If you've been together long term, you're not really married, you don't know where you're going, you don't want to commingle your funds, so then you just keep a separate account.
Yeah.
Cool?
Yeah.
All right, so that is our conversation. We appreciate you guys for joining us on this episode of Chatter of Opinion, talking about separate accounts when being married or in a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Had a fun with this one.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Research. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of us fall into that category, no matter if you're dating or if you're married.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So until next time, we appreciate you guys chiming in.
Yep.
We really appreciate you guys' support when it comes to us doing these podcasts on Thursdays at 6:00. Once again, if you guys have any topics that you want us to cover,
to discuss, or if you want to come on with us, if there's something important that you would like to discuss or share,
we have a phone number that is normally in the topic, and we'll send you the link for our live, and then we will chime you in, and you'll be on a video just like we are.
Yeah.
So if you want to be heard and not seen, you can always call in. If you want to be seen and chime in, we'll send you the link for you to join our next podcast.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Right. We normally put out the topic like on a Tuesday or a Wednesday for you to kind of marinate over.
Some of us do. Apparently, I didn't do my Facebook one.
Well, it is what it is.
My bad.
Maybe you was balancing the checkbook.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing.
Whatever. So until next time, guys, we really appreciate your support. We're going to holler at y'all.
Bye, guys.